Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. Today is the perfect day to be filming a video like this because you can't tell, but it is stormy outside. We have Storm Amy, I think, coming here to Scotland, which is like the tail end of a hurricane. We get them quite a lot. Anytime like the east coast of America gets a hurricane, we tend to get like a little flavor of it. So it is raining like crazy. It is storming. I think it's probably going to start thundering and lightning soon. It's dark and I just feel in my element. It's so cozy and autumnal, and I just thought this is the perfect time to be sitting here with my ginger tea. It is actually in a Christmas mug, but whatever, with my hoodie on and just have a little chat with you guys, because I feel like I've not uploaded in a while, but maybe I think it's only been a couple of weeks. It's not been like anything crazy, but I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube recently about like self-improvement and like nighttime routines and just mindfulness and just how to be your best self. And I do feel like I've actually, even just in the last couple of months, since I broke my foot, basically, I feel like I have made quite a lot of positive changes to my life. And, you know, I feel like I've got some good ideas of how to do that. And I figured, I don't know what I'm saying, but I figured I'd just share them with you guys and hopefully you enjoy them and find them useful. Some things I say you might be like, well, duh, you know, I don't know, but I've made a little list of things that I'm really glad I've sort of introduced into my life and find really helpful, in the hopes that maybe it will be helpful to someone else as well. I don't know, let's just give it a go. So the very first one kind of encompasses everything, and it's just sort of enjoying the process and the moment, which is so like, I don't know, it's so cliche and cheesy, enjoy the moment, but I'm really trying to do that. My whole life, even since I was a child, I've always been very forward thinking, been like, struggle now to succeed later. That's always been my kind of goal. But I think as I've gotten older, I've started to realize that when is that later? You know, even now, like in high school, I would work so that I could go to a good university, and then university I'd do it so I'd have a good job, and I do it now so I can get a better job. And you know, it's like, when does that actually end? You just wait until you retire before you can have a good time. So I've really tried to make an effort to enjoy the day and the here and now, and obviously I still work hard, but I try and treat myself a little bit more in the present moment. And that kind of encompasses pretty much everything I'm going to talk about, is just relaxing, taking a breath and not thinking like, okay, right, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, got to get this done, got to do this, got to do this, and actually sit like, okay, I need to do all those things. How can I make doing those things as enjoyable as possible for myself? Again, I hope this makes sense. I don't know. Sometimes things make sense in your head and then you say them out loud and you're like, actually, maybe that doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, that's kind of the overarching theme of everything, is just trying to take a breath each day, each minute, to be perfectly honest, and just think, how can I make this a nice experience, rather than thinking, oh, gotta get this done, that sort of thing. I'm pretending to drink my tea because it's far too hot, so there we go. My second point is really quite similar to the first, but just giving myself time to get comfy and cozy before starting something. You know, I would maybe come in from work from a meeting and get myself set up back here and think, oh my god, I've got so much to do, and I'd sit down, I wouldn't even have taken my shoes off, and I'll just sit, and I'd be getting myself more stressed and more like grumpy and annoyed, because I'd be thinking like, oh, and I still need to, you know, tidy the house or do this or do that. I'm like, no, everything can wait, you know, nothing's that important. And actually maybe that fits into my third point as well. I'll do them both at the same time, which is not letting work take over my life. So now, yeah, I may be crazy stressed, I've got a million things to do, I've got people phoning me saying, can you do this, this and this? But when I get home, I take the time to greet my dog, get myself, you know, put myself into a comfy outfit, get some tea, you know, get myself set up all nice, so that when I do actually sit down to sort those things, yes, it may be in even more of a jumble than it would have been if I'd actually just come in and got it done, but I'm in a much better headspace. And again, it's about enjoying it. Not that I, you know, enjoy sitting answering emails, but it's a much nicer process, and I feel like I can actually do my job better as a result. And like I say, not letting work take over my life, working to live, not living to work, has been a big thing. Not that I was exactly a workaholic, but again, it was a case of like just taking over all my thoughts, and I just don't let that happen anymore. And again, you know, if it's the middle of the day and I feel like I need a break, I'll take a break, even if there's a million things going on, because that's what's important to me. And the whole point of my day is not my job, you know, and I make sure that in the evenings I'm doing things that I can, you know, that are for me. So that, you know, someone said, what did you do yesterday? I don't want to say I was at work. I want to say, oh, I watched a really good TV show. You know, it doesn't need to be anything big, but, you know, or I played a board game, or, you know, I don't know, I read this, or, you know, I went to the cinema, you know, something that's not, it doesn't have to be like cost money, but just something that's not my whole day revolved around work, you know. And having a dog's quite good for that. You know, I spend a lot of time during the day playing with Jolene, cuddling Jolene, you know, taking her for walks, all that kind of thing. So that really helps kind of take some of the focus of my day away from just working. One thing as well is ginger tea. Now that I'm trying to, you know, settle myself, take more time in the day for things, become more comfortable, I'm finding little things that just make things so much nicer, that I used to think like, well, I don't even have time to make a cup of tea, or like, you know, oh, you know, I'll just get ready quick or whatever. Now I'm like, no, I'll sit with a cup of tea, I'll take my time. Like this video, I would have in the past tried to get it filmed and out within like an hour. Now I'm taking my time. I took my time to set up. I took my time to make some tea to have while I film it. I'll probably not edit it until I've got like a couple of hours and some nice time to do it. You know, it's all about, yes, I'm not as quite as productive as I used to be, but I think it's worth it for my own mental health and sanity that I get times like this where I can just sit and I'm just enjoying myself. And it has taken quite a big mental shift to get to that point where I can sit here and not think, oh, I've got a million things to do. It has taken a lot of time. It's taken I'm 30, so it's pretty much taken 30 years to get to this point. But I do really feel like I'm now able to cut my brain off a bit. I think I've just spent so long in the past being stressed, worrying about this, that, or the other, that it's just reached a point where my brain's just like, no, I just can't keep going like this. So it's just been able to shut that part off and just enjoy sitting here. So yeah, every night almost I have some ginger tea. It's the Twinings spiced ginger, because a lot of the ginger teas are ginger and lemon. I don't like citrus all that much, but this is spiced ginger. It's lovely. I only put the tea bag in for a few seconds. I like it quite, because otherwise it's like very ginger and it kind of burns my throat. But just a mild ginger tea, and obviously it's really good for me as well. And that's something I'm really trying to work on. You may or may not be able to tell. You never know how sort of internal these things are. I've gained a significant amount of weight recently. My diet has been terrible. And obviously since I broke my foot, I've not been exercising really at all. I've been taking Jolene for walks, but they've not exactly been anything crazy. And obviously I would like to get to a healthier state. I have to get to a healthier state. I'm not healthy right now. But I'm slowly introducing little things like this, which are much easier than changing a whole diet and exercise routine, you know, just including things that are good for your gut, good for your digestion, good for your immune system, you know, things like that. And it's a start, and it does make me feel better. It makes me feel quite productive as well. And as you can tell, I like being productive. On that note, I've also been intuitive sleeping. I've actually been doing this for quite a while, but I've been really mindful about it recently. Intuitive sleeping, I completely understand, is a luxury. You know, if you've got children or, you know, something like that, or you work quite irregular shifts, it's not always something that's going to work, but I feel quite fortunate. It's something I can generally do. If you don't know, it means you don't have a set bedtime, waking up time. I mean, I work, so I have to have a vague getting up time, but generally speaking, you sleep when you're tired and when your body is telling you it needs sleep. So generally speaking, for example, rather than taking a lunch break, I will have a 30-minute nap if I'm working from home. Obviously, if I'm feeling tired, you know, quite often, you know, middle of the day you get a bit of a slump, my body's feeling tired, I'll go to sleep. Similarly at nighttime, if I'm just sitting in bed, you know, browsing YouTube, all this kind of thing, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I don't feel tired, I won't go to sleep. I won't, because there's nothing worse than trying to fall asleep when you're just not there yet. Similarly, if it's 6 o'clock in the evening and I'm absolutely exhausted, well, that's when I'll go to bed. It doesn't work for everybody. Some people don't like it. I really like it. It does mean if there is a case of a day when I don't fall asleep till 3 o'clock in the morning, then that night I only get 3-4 hours sleep, and that day sucks. But it does, in the long run, work. You just, I don't know how to explain it, but you kind of just have to get through it, and then eventually your body actually does get into a really good routine. And I do find that around about 10 p.m. is when I'm really tired, and that's when my eyes start drooping. So I'm like, okay, this is when I'm going to go to sleep. So after a while, your body actually creates its own rhythm and gets the right amount of sleep for you. At least that's what I found. I'm not a scientist. I'd like to just make that clear. This is just from my own experience, and it's definitely like I never really have a night now where I'm lying there and it's like, okay, now it's 1 a.m, now it's 2 a.m, you know, now I can get 3 hours sleep or 2 hours sleep. Like, it just doesn't happen. And I don't really ever get bored as well. You know, if it is a night where it's just, I'm just not tired, then I've got plenty to do. I read a lot, I'm online a lot, I've got lots to watch, I've always got loads of YouTube to watch. So I never personally ever feel particularly like bored in the evening. And I like being productive as well. So I'll like clean or, you know, something like that. Some people would hate it, I think, if you didn't have like things to do in the evening, but it works for me. And so I do find that I'm sleeping, my quality of sleep is a bit better, but take that with a pinch of salt because I don't know if it works for everybody. On that note, I also have started, this has only been like about a week, I've started writing a bit of a diary every night, which I'm really enjoying. Literally just like as if I'm writing to someone who's going to find my diary in like 100 years time. Just what I did today, how I felt, you know, things I've got in the future that I'm looking forward to, and I've put it in a nice little format. I actually stole the format online, I can't say that I made it, and it includes like what you're reading at the moment, what you're watching, songs you're listening to, so it's a nice little memory box. And I mean, I'm not inventing anything new here. People have been doing journaling and things like that for ages, but it is nice to kind of get the day out of your head and onto a page, and then you can just move on from it. And again, I think that helps me sleep a bit. It's just getting all my thoughts out onto a bit of paper, and then my brain feels a bit clearer. And it's also going to be nice in the future to just look back and be like, oh, I was feeling this way this day, or I did this that day, you know. So I'm looking forward to, you know, maybe in like a year being able to go back and read things from a year ago and stuff. So I'm enjoying that. I don't write in it every single day. I don't like adding it as an extra task or pressure to put on myself, but it's fun so far and I'm enjoying it. Something as well I've been doing for quite a long time is that I have a to-do list every day, and this is not work related at all. I don't include anything from work in it. That has its own to-do list. It's a personal to-do list. So again, it's a bit of like focusing on myself more so than work. And to be clear, I put a lot of effort into my work. I don't want anyone to think that I'm sitting here like skiving or not doing it, but I'm just much better at creating boundaries for myself. But that will include really small things that are super easy to tick off, so I feel like I've done something, you know, like give Jolene breakfast, take Jolene for 2 walks, you know, like all that kind of stuff that I would do anyway, even just get ready for the day, that kind of thing, things that are easy to tick off. But I also include, and by the way, I create these to-do lists like 3 months in advance. I have a to-do list ready for each day until the end of the year. Yes, I'm that kind of person. That's not going to work for everybody. Some people would absolutely hate that, but it works really well for me. So I can wake up, look at today and be like, okay, today I need to clean the bathrooms, because I do that every 2 days. So today's a clean the bathroom day. Today I need to sort my washing. Today I need to do this. Oh, today I'm going there. Today I've got an appointment. I even include things like today I need to book an appointment for in the future. So number one, it makes sure that nothing ever gets missed. But number two, yeah, it's not fun actually writing the to-do list. Well, I quite like it, but I don't think most people would. But it means that when I get up, I don't have to worry about, have I missed something? Is something coming up? Is there a birthday coming up that I've completely forgotten about? Like, everything is well planned and written on my to-do list. And of course, sometimes things change, things pop up and stuff like that. But generally speaking, I have a really good idea of things I need to get done that day, and everything's well distributed. So there's no one day where there's like loads of things to do and one day where there's nothing to do. It works really well for me. I'm going to talk about that in a bit more detail if anyone's interested, but I generally have them sitting ready about 3 months in advance. And I've always been super prepared. I very rarely forget or miss something, so it works well for me. And on that note, another thing I do is like prepare for things quite early. Christmas, Halloween, all those sort of things. I'm a seasonal girl. I love getting involved in seasonal events and activities and things like that, and the to-do list really helped me. And it means as well that, again, it's all part of going back to that enjoying the moment, being able to take part in fun activities, not missing out on stuff because I didn't know about them early enough or didn't get tickets early enough or things like that. making sure like I've not like half-assed anyone's Christmas presents. So I typically buy Christmas presents starting in around August, and it helps spread the cost. And it also means that if I just come across something, I can get it rather than a last minute like, oh goodness, I need to think of a gift. I can actually get things that are a bit more bespoke and meaningful. This year, for example, I'm getting everyone a little trip. Like me and my mum are going to spend a day in the city. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I was able to do that because I've planned really far in advance and things like that. And you know, it's what is it, the 3rd of October, so we've not even hit Halloween, and I've already bought most of my Christmas gifts. I've bought all the wrapping paper, I've written all my Christmas cards, I've got things booked for Halloween, I've got pumpkin picking booked, you know, things like that, which the to-do lists really help because it means I can prep way far in advance. You know, in August I was already looking at pumpkin picking because they book out really early, and it gives me time to like kind of think of cool and unique and interesting things to do with people, which I really enjoy. Also, on the note of my to-do list, I clean and organize every single day. I make sure to take a little part of my day, 15 minutes even, and that's for cleaning and organizing. So as I mentioned, cleaning the bathrooms every 2 days, that's just standard, but every single day I'll have a part of my room to deep clean. So it could be my pajamas drawer, take them all out, clean the drawer properly, refold all my pajamas, make sure it's all looking nice, so that I never really have to give my room ever a deep clean where you're like taking everything apart and it takes the whole day, because I'm doing like micro deep cleans every single day. So I'll slowly work my way around the whole room. That'll take a couple of weeks, and then after that I'll do the car. So I'll really deep clean, sort the car. I'll do all of Jolene's stuff. I'll deep clean my bathroom. So generally speaking, nothing's ever really particularly dirty or unclean. You know, the goal is that by the time I get around to the next deep clean of the room, nothing actually needs deep clean, but I do it anyway, just to really keep on top of things, keep things feeling and looking really fresh, really nice. I say that I don't even have any bedding on my bed because it's in the washing, so I'm not that on top of things, but that generally works well for me. It's not fun. It's not fun taking a bit of your day every single day to do some cleaning, and some days it takes longer than others, but I do think it is worth it to never have to worry about like, oh, this room really needs like a big clean or anything like that. I only ever, on a Friday, I do a general clean, like a dust and a hoover and change the bin and what have you, but it's never that big of a deal. It only takes me like 15-20 minutes because I've been doing those micro cleans throughout the whole week. I've also really been making an effort to give back a little bit, because I do feel like now I have a little bit more brain space from the way I've kind of changed how I live my life. So for example, in fact I've got them here, this year I am going to be writing Christmas cards. So there's a charity, there's a few actually, and I won't link one directly because you can Google them for your area, but there's a charity that works with kind of lonely elderly people, and they're asking for people to write Christmas cards, you know, for them to receive this year, because they might not receive that many or not have any visitors over Christmas. And I thought that's such a nice small thing to do. It's not going to cost a lot. It costs however much you want to spend on Christmas cards, and I suppose one stamp, because you send the cards to the company and then they send them to people, so you're not getting like people's addresses and stuff. And it's a really nice activity. I've been doing it already. I like just sitting, putting something on YouTube, writing a couple of cards. I write quite a lot in them. Most people I know I'd write a quick like Happy Christmas, but for them I try and write quite a lot so they've got something nice to read. And it's really enjoyable, and it feels really nice and fulfilling to give something back, because I've always wanted to do that around Christmas time, and I'll be honest, I've never really done it. And I think next year I'll probably do it again and maybe get some of my friends involved and we can all sit together and write the Christmas cards together. I think that'll be a really nice activity, and it means that more people are getting the cards as well. So, you know, even I'm starting small, something small and easy, low commitment, but I'm really enjoying it. So I'm hoping to do a little bit more next year, maybe try and get a bit more involved in various charities and what have you. So we'll see how that goes, but that's been very fulfilling so far. And finally, I suppose the biggest one is being selfish and understanding my self-worth. You know, I had a bit of a revelation recently, like I'm constantly trying to make people want to be friends with me, and that sounds really desperate and kind of depressing, and yeah, it is, but I don't really necessarily mean it in that way. I mean, I'm constantly thinking about my friends, like, are they finding me fun to be around? Are they finding me interesting? Am I being funny? You know, all that kind of thing. I think that's pretty typical. But I've been recently trying to switch it to more like, no, people should want to be friends with me, you know, rather than me sort of trying to make sure, am I being a good friend? And obviously you do want to be a good friend, but I'm like, they should be also thinking, am I being a good friend to her? And that's nothing against anyone personally, like they probably are, but I don't know how to explain it, but I'm trying to flip that script a little bit and be a bit more confident in myself and be like, why? And it's not just about friendships, it could be a million different things, like at work and stuff as well. It's like, no, people should want to spend time with me. Why am I constantly worrying in my head, like, am I being annoying? Am I being good enough? Like, no, just yeah, I am being good enough. I am a good friend. People should be trying to spend time with me, and people are. Again, it's hard to explain. It's just one of those things. But again, just being a bit more selfish with my time, and just I really don't know how to explain this one. Some people will get it and some people won't. It's just one of those things. But just sort of I guess appreciating my worth a bit more, and I don't know how to explain it. Am I just going to completely fail on this one? Just understanding my self-worth more, being more confident in myself, not doubting myself, and, you know, if someone doesn't want to spend time with me, they're a loss, rather than thinking, what can I do to convince them? What can I do to be better? It's just like, all right, it sucks to be them. They missed out, you know, that kind of thing. I suppose that's what I'm trying to say. And some of these things I'm doing way better than others. Some of these things, as I've said, have really been integrated into my life for a while. Some, like, for example, they're writing a to-do list. Some I'm doing way better at recently, like enjoying the process and the moment and that kind of thing. Some I'm still really working on, like sort of understanding my self-worth and, you know, giving back a bit more and that kind of thing. But again, none of these things are reinventing the wheel, but I feel so much better for them, and I just feel like generally I enjoy my day-to-day way more, and I have more time for hobbies and interests and things like that, and I feel a lot more content and calm. I don't think I'm one of those people. I'm very type A. I've got OCD. I'm never going to be fully relaxed at any point in my life, but it feels a lot better and it feels a lot more manageable because of these things. And yeah, I'm enjoying them a lot. So maybe I'll do an update at some point in the future in terms of how I'm getting on with them all. But I figured I'd share them because I think even just a couple of months ago, I would have really appreciated a video like this with these tips and tricks. Hopefully it was at least somewhat helpful, gave someone out there some ideas. I don't know, I'd love to know your thoughts. I have more videos coming up soon that aren't just sit down chatting videos, so if this isn't your cup of tea, don't worry, there'll be other things coming. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.